Are we rolling? Yes, we are. What's up, guys? It's McKinley Crain here, and today I'm going to be doing my spoiler-free movie review of Turning Red. Now, let's get into it. So, I watched this movie last Saturday. I guess you could technically say I watched it last Sunday because I finished it last Sunday. Like this previous Sunday, I started watching it at like 11 p.m. on Saturday, and I finished at like 12 something. So I guess I technically finished it on Sunday, but whatever. Anyway, this is the latest film from Pixar, and it's one of their best, in my opinion, it's one of the best movies they put out in years. So when I first heard about this movie, I wasn't really too interested in it. I was just like, okay, it looks okay. And then, like, over time, I kind of, like, started getting a little more and more interested in it until I finally decided to watch it. And I was blown away by how good it was. This film is great. It's got humor, it's got heart, and it's just a fun film. I had a lot of fun watching this movie. And I remember, like, one time I had to use the bathroom. Okay, so I remember when I was watching this movie, this was recent, by the way. So when I was watching this movie, I had to use there's one time where I had to pause the movie and make a quick trip to the bathroom, and I remember just being excited to go back and unpause the movie and keep watching it. It was that good. I love this film. It's great. It's a lot better than you would expect it to be. And it's a lot better than the trailers kind of portray it to be. Not that the trailers aren't good, but this movie exceeded all of the expectations I had for it. This movie had lovable characters and relatable characters that were three-dimensional and relatable. I think I already said that, but whatever. I had a blast watching this movie. This movie went into it explored some topics that I actually never thought that Pixar would ever kind of have the guts to explore in an animated kids movie. Like, it explores some aspects of puberty which I didn't think that they would be able to get away with exploring. It doesn't do it in like an inappropriate way. It keeps it kid-friendly and everything. But I was just surprised that they actually did that. Like, actually included that kind of stuff in this movie. And, it didn't hurt the movie at all. It actually made the movie more mature. And that's a good thing. This is still a kids movie. But, it's a mature kids movie, This movie's actually very mature. It's got some mature themes. And when I say mature themes, I don't mean like inappropriate stuff. I just mean like, just kind of like, this movie handles some life topics in very mature ways, if that makes sense. Anyway, I hope that this movie gets a sequel, even though it probably doesn't even need one, because I just want to see more of these characters. So let me just go into the plot. So this movie is about a 13-year-old girl named Malin Lee who lives in Toronto, Canada, and is like a goody two-shoes student who, like, does what she does, almost everything she wants to do. in her everyday life. And is fairly happy, and has, okay, friend count. She has 3 friends, and her friends are actually some of my favorite characters, and they're part of what makes this movie so great. And, but, even though she's happy, there's always been this one aspect of her life that she doesn't have control of. She doesn't get to really see her friends every time she wants to, because she's too busy helping her mom, who is a very, very, very kind of strict-minded person, like, who believes in honor, like, more than the average human being does, and is all about, like, honoring the family name. And not that's a bad thing or anything, but, this lady sometimes obviously takes it a little bit too far. And in this movie, I'm not going to get into, like, it too much because it's a spoiler-free review, but mainly kind of has trouble balancing her blooming adolescent hyperactive feelings with her mom's wishes, if that makes sense. And she has a little bit of trouble balancing her home life with her friend life. Well, more should I say her family life with her friend life, which is actually like a main part of this story. You'll see what I'm talking about when you watch this movie, if you watch this movie. So anyway, let's just get on to the main plot. Okay, so one day, this girl just wakes up after a terrible nightmare where everything's red, and she finds out that she's turned into a giant red panda. Which makes for some really fun scenes. And then she proceeds to find out that she can turn back into her human self if she just calms down. So whenever she feels excitement, like overexcitement or something like that, or just an overpowerment of a certain emotion, she turns into this giant red panda, and a lot of this movie is her trying to kind of hide that red panda from certain people. And also, like, this movie, like, what I'm trying to say is, she also uses this red panda to, like, gain stuff in this movie that she needs. And, okay, so what I'm saying is that part of this movie is her trying to figure out how to actually use the red panda side of her for her benefit, which makes for some great storytelling, Scott Hart, and it makes for some really good humor too. This movie has a very self-aware sense of humor, if that makes sense. There are, like, some things in this movie. This movie uses, like, cringe humor sometimes, and it's used very well. It's like cringe humor in a good way. It's like cringe humor in a funny way. And this movie, it knows what it's doing when it comes to humor, and it's hilarious. It's a funny movie. I was impressed with the comedy in this movie. It was terrific. And moving on to the character chemistry, you know, the character chemistry, the chemistry between the characters is just awesome. I love it. It's what part of it makes this movie so good, and it's just so lovable, and it's part of what makes the characters in this movie so lovable. They're like all best when they're like with each other, and I love how like every single character in this movie kind of has their own personality. Even characters like the dad that don't even play that, like her dad, like who don't even play that big a role in this movie. Like everybody has like their own little personality. Like, you know, the dad at first just seems like kind of a mysterious character that we don't get to see a lot of, who's just always in support of Malin's mom. And then later we see more of his character. And when we actually see this, it kind of not only like expands his character, but like expands the plot, which I think is great, and I think is clever. It was used very cleverly. This movie has really good writing. All the characters feel necessary and just awesome. And the ending was very satisfying. And you know, the ending scenes, like the final scenes, are very fun. If I could describe this movie using only one word, the first word that would come to mind would be fun. It's a very fun movie. If you love fun, energetic movies, you're going to love this one. Probably. Most likely. I can't read your mind, so I don't know, but you probably will. I for one, did. This is a great movie. It's one of Pixar's best in years. I love it. It's just terrific. It's extraordinary, and it's unique. And you know, if they are going to make a sequel, I can't wait. Anyway, I'm going to give this movie an 87% out of 100%, which is the equivalent of an A-. Like, subscribe, join the notification squad, or return.